Surah Maryam, verse 33, Jesus talking, peace be upon me, the day I was born, the day I shall die, and the day I shall be sent alive, resurrected. Now, Sam, why don't you break down the relevance of that
Yeah.
verse real quick?
You guys got to understand that chapter 19, it's juxtaposing John and Jesus together. Maybe in a future session, God willing, if the Lord wills, we'll do a session now. John's story and Jesus' story are juxtaposed because John and Jesus are supposed to be similar in the way they were born, the way they ministered, and their final moments on earth. This is why when you read the Quran's depiction of John's birth, right away it follows it up with the birth of Jesus. Chapter 3 of the Quran, if you start at verse 33 onwards, and chapter 19. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because that same phraseology is attributed to John's earthly sojourn, his ministry. Chapter 19:33, Jesus is said to say, peace be upon me, the day I was born, the day I will die, the day I shall be raised alive. Go to chapter 19, verse 15. Go to chapter 19, verse 15. And it says, peace be upon him, talking about John, which the Quran calls Yahya, which is another topic for another time. Peace be upon him, the day he was born, the day he shall die, the day he shall be raised to life. Now, since we know that John died after he was born and will be raised, that means we should assume the same sequence for Jesus. Born like John, would die, and then be raised. Instead, Muslims want us to believe Jesus was born, raised to heaven, will come back, die, and then be raised, destroying the parallel with John the Baptist. If John the Baptist died after he was born and will be raised, that means we should expect something similar with Jesus. Born, died, and was raised. Now, the only difference is Jesus was raised beforehand, but that's the sequence. Birth, death, resurrection. Not birth, ascension, return, death, and resurrection. That doesn't make sense. So this is one of the many lines of arguments that you can use from the Quran to show Jesus must have died before he was raised to life, because John the Baptist died and will be raised to life. And John's birth and ministry and death are meant to parallel Jesus's birth, death, and ministry and death in some way. But that's just one of many arguments you can use to show the Quran, if you interpret it correctly, does not deny that Jesus died before he was raised. In point of fact, it teaches the opposite. But God willing, we may do a future session on that and go in depth with greater detail.